Hey everyone, in this video, and in the ones coming up, I'll be exploring popular TV shows and movies to break down interesting expressions so you can learn real, useful English. I hope you enjoy it. Please share your thoughts and ideas with me in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let's get started. Take off. To remove something, typically worn items like glasses or clothes. She reminded her friend to take off her sunglasses before she tripped. Flawless. Perfect or without any blemishes or defects. Her friend complimented her on her flawless skin after her skincare treatments. Botox. A cosmetic injection to reduce wrinkles by temporarily paralyzing muscles. She proudly mentioned that her Botox injections were working wonders on her wrinkles. Artificial. Something not natural often implies that it's fake or unnatural. He expressed disapproval of Botox, saying it seemed too artificial. Prune juice cleanse. A type of cleanse involving prune juice, known for aiding digestion. After doing a prune juice cleanse, she noticed a positive effect on her skin. Sphincter. A ring-like muscle that controls the passage of substances, commonly associated with digestion. She joked about losing control of her sphincter after the prune juice cleanse. Squash tofu. A humorous way to describe something that has lost its shape or firmness. She compared her aging body to squashed tofu, reminiscing about her younger physique. Peaches. Often used as a metaphor for something firm and round, like young skin or muscles. In her youth, she said her body looked like peaches, full of vitality. Squeeze and release. The action in Kegel exercises to strengthen pelvic muscles. She recommended Kegel exercises, saying squeeze and release to keep fit as they age. Cortex Gore-Tex. High-tech fabric used in outdoor clothing for durability and breathability. She mistakenly called her Gore-Tex hiking jacket Cortex, and they all laughed. Please subscribe and like. Retinal microvasculature. Refers to the small blood vessels in the retina, affecting vision with age. They joke that age affects color perception due to changes in retinal microvasculature. Slip of the tongue. A minor verbal mistake. She referred to her mispronunciation as a slip of the tongue. Functional fabric. Material designed for specific purposes, such as durability or moisture resistance. She explained that her expensive jacket was made from functional fabric. Shoot the breeze. To have a casual, friendly conversation. Her daughter spends Fridays shooting the breeze with her successful colleagues. Top of his class. To be among the best students academically. Her son was at the top of his class, achieving high marks in his studies. Excel. To perform exceptionally well. Her son excels in various areas, including swimming and architecture. Gift from heaven. A phrase used to describe someone or something as a blessing or highly valuable. She described her daughter as a gift from heaven due to her many achievements. Hiking outfit. Clothing specifically worn for hiking, often durable and comfortable. They admired her new hiking outfit, noting its bright color and style. National swim team. A country's official team for competitive swimming. She boasted that her son was talented enough to join the national swim team. Cosmetics. Products applied to enhance or alter one's appearance, often for skin care. They joked that despite preferring natural beauty, she used expensive cosmetics. Bragging. Talking boastfully about one's accomplishments or possessions. She didn't want to sound like she was bragging, but mentioned her son's awards. Rainbow-colored paradise. A dreamy or ideal place filled with vibrant colors, often symbolizing joy or hope. She described her dream as a rainbow-colored paradise where everything was serene and colorful. Fairy tale. A story with magical or idealized elements, often involving fantasy. They joked that her pregnancy story sounded like a fairy tale. Extravagant founding myth. A grand or elaborate origin story, often exaggerated. They laughed about how extravagant her son's founding myth sounded. Diplomat. A person who manages international relations and negotiations. They thought she might win an argument because she's a skilled diplomat. Top celebrities. The most famous or well-known individuals in a particular field. She was surprised to see her friend at an event usually reserved for top celebrities. Memorial Park. A designated area where people honor and remember the deceased. He wanted to design a memorial park that would feel welcoming to visitors. Funeral director. A professional who manages funeral arrangements and ceremonies. She was interested in hearing from a funeral director to bring authenticity to her project. Shelter for memories. A conceptual space where people can reminisce about loved ones. He envisioned a shelter for memories in the memorial park, filled with cherished items. Reminisce. To reflect or look back on past memories with fondness. He wanted visitors to reminisce with a mix of joy and sadness at the memorial park. Acceptance speech. A short speech given by someone who receives an award, often expressing gratitude. She advised him to prepare an acceptance speech for the award ceremony. Round of applause. A gesture of appreciation where the audience claps for someone. The crowd gave him a round of applause for his achievements. Yahoo! An enthusiastic shout of joy or excitement. They joked about how saying Yahoo was an old-fashioned way of celebrating. Old-fashioned. Out of style or not trendy, something traditional or dated. She joked that yelling Yahoo was too old-fashioned for the modern world. Wedding invitation. A formal request sent to invite someone to a wedding ceremony. She handed out her daughter's wedding invitations in a special setting. Please subscribe and like. Hold off. To delay or postpone something for a specific reason. She held off giving the invitations until the right moment arrived. Miss out on. To not experience or participate in something enjoyable or significant. She didn't want her friends to miss out on her daughter's big day, even though it was overseas. Assigned. To be given a specific task or role. She was assigned a project in France when she discovered her pregnancy. Sense of gladness. A feeling of happiness or pleasure. He hoped visitors would feel a sense of gladness when visiting the memorial park. Top of his class. Being among the best academically, often ranked highly in studies. She proudly noted that her son was at the top of his class in university. To go up on stage. To step onto a platform or stage, often to receive an award or speak. He was almost ready to go up on stage for his award ceremony. In time. Before a specific moment, often just before an event begins. He arrived just in time to accept his award on stage. At the top of a mountain. Literally being at the highest point of a mountain, often symbolizing accomplishment. They joked about how shouting at the top of a mountain was old-fashioned. Going at it. To continue arguing or engaging with someone energetically. They were still going at it, wasting energy on endless debates. Weight off your shoulders. A relief from a heavy responsibility or burden. Finally, with her daughter getting married, she feels a weight off her shoulders. Loser daughter. A self-deprecating or joking term for a child who has not yet met certain expectations, like marriage. She teased that her loser daughter still lives at home. International lawyer. A lawyer who practices law across countries, dealing with international cases. She proudly mentioned that her son-in-law is an international lawyer. Lining up. Eagerly waiting or wanting something, often used metaphorically. She boasted that women are lining up to meet her son. Legs fell asleep. The feeling of numbness or pins and needles in your legs due to lack of movement. After sitting too long, she said her legs fell asleep. Window shade. The cover that can be pulled down or up on airplane windows. The flight attendant asked her to lift the window shade as they prepared to land. Straighten your seat. Adjust your seat to the upright position, often requested before landing. She was asked to straighten her seat as the plane prepared to land. Nightmare. A bad dream that can cause fear or anxiety. She mentioned she had a nightmare about being beaten up. Over the top. Excessive or exaggerated. She admitted her behavior was over the top, but hoped her friend would appreciate it. Slimy. Slick or insincere in behavior, can also mean being overly flattering. He joked that she'd become slimy after living in the US. Roll up the window. To close a car window. He told her to roll up the window, warning her to be cautious. Paramedic. A healthcare professional who provides emergency medical assistance, often on site. He admired how she sounded like a real paramedic. Jawline could cut you. A humorous way to describe a sharp or defined jawline. He joked that his jawline was sharp enough to cut, as he showed off his weight loss. Antsy. Nervous or restless. The words kill and cut made him feel antsy. Acceptance speech. A speech given by someone receiving an award, usually expressing gratitude. He didn't mention her name in his acceptance speech, which annoyed her. Compass. A tool used for navigation or direction, especially symbolic in feng shui. He teased her about bringing a compass for feng shui during her project. Please subscribe and like. Feng shui. A traditional Chinese practice that arranges spaces to bring harmony and positive energy. As an architect, he considered feng shui in his designs. Deceive. To mislead or trick someone. She joked that he couldn't deceive her with his architect's knowledge. Perfect structure. Ideal or flawless building, used here as a metaphor for perfection. He compared his idea of perfection to a well-made structure rather than a person. The In-Laws Fried Chicken. A fictional or humorous name for a restaurant, suggesting family-related themes. He joked about the restaurant's name, saying it didn't sound appetizing. Blood of Korean people is redder. A playful exaggeration about Koreans' love for spicy food. He joked that Koreans' blood is redder because of chili paste. Scientific theory. A playful or sarcastic term for a statement that lacks real scientific basis. She joked that his idea was quite a scientific theory. Good old days. Nostalgic reference to past times, often seen as simpler or happier. They reminisced about the good old days in high school. Begin the battle. A playful expression for starting something challenging, often used with food. They joked begin the battle before eating the spicy dish. Losing your identity. Losing a characteristic or quality that defines who you are. She teased him that he was losing his identity as a Korean because he couldn't handle spicy food. Sink to low. To act in a way that is beneath one's usual standards, often by doing something seen as desperate or humiliating. She felt that washing the food to make it less spicy was sinking to low, but she did it anyway to help her friend. Hide. To conceal oneself or something from view or attention. When they saw Dong Jin coming, they immediately hid to avoid being seen. Calories. A unit of energy that indicates the energy content of food. She calculated that eating tteokbokki, sundae, and fried squid would add up to 1,350 calories. Confiscate. To take something away from someone, often as a form of punishment or to enforce a rule. The trainer confiscated the food, insisting it would be bad for his fitness goals. Pot calling the kettle black. A phrase used to accuse someone of being hypocritical by pointing out that they have the same flaw they're accusing another of. She reminded him that he was eating junk food too, saying it was a case of the pot calling the kettle black. Making a whole production out of something. To make a big deal or unnecessary fuss over something small. He planned an elaborate surprise for his family's return, making a whole production out of his homecoming. All out. To do something with maximum effort or enthusiasm. They decided to go all out decorating the house before their moms came back from hiking. A whole production. To turn a simple task into a complicated or theatrical event. He wanted his homecoming to be more than just showing up, making a whole production of it. Blow whistle. To emit a loud whistle sound, often used to get someone's attention or to signal something. The trainer blew his whistle to command his students' attention and discipline. Open book test. A test where students are allowed to use books or notes. It implies that the task should be easy, but still requires effort. He thought the tasks were unfairly difficult, calling it harder than an open book test. Pay here. Common phrase found at checkout counters, directing customers to make payments at a particular spot. The shop owner pointed to the counter, saying pay here for convenience. Stay until the end. An expression meaning to remain present or supportive until a task or event concludes. He asked his friend to stay with him until the end of the day, no matter what happened. My goodness! An expression of surprise, often used to show amazement or shock. When she saw her friend after a long time, she exclaimed, "My goodness!" Say ah. Often used to encourage someone to open their mouth for food or medication, like a baby. She jokingly said "saya" as she tried to feed her friend the food. That's unfair. An expression to indicate dissatisfaction or that something seems inequitable. He thought the exercise routine was too harsh and exclaimed, "That's unfair." No front door. Literally means a building with no entrance, but can also imply a place is incomplete or strange. He remarked how odd it was that the building had no front door. Please subscribe and like. Go all out. To put maximum effort into something. They went all out decorating the house for their parents' return from a trip. I apologize. A polite expression used to show regret or say sorry. Used when acknowledging a mistake or oversight, as in apologizing for not informing someone earlier. Your firm opens next week. Firm refers to a business or company. The sentence implies that the new business will begin operating next week. This phrase is used in the context of discussing the opening of a new business location. Take it to the police. To bring something to the police station, usually an item found or something suspicious. Used when they find an unknown piece of luggage and decide to turn it in for investigation. Pink is a man's color. An expression challenging traditional gender norms around color preference. Used humorously to show that liking pink is acceptable for everyone, including men. Healthier eating habits. The practice of consuming more nutritious foods and maintaining regular eating schedules for better health. Encourages someone to improve their diet, often by eating more balanced meals. What's in it? A question asking about the contents inside something, often due to curiosity. Used when someone is curious about the contents of a mysterious box. For crying out loud. An exclamation expressing frustration or disbelief. Used to show exasperation or frustration, often in response to something difficult or surprising. Ceiling designs of the Goguryeo mural tombs. Refers to the artistic ceiling motifs found in ancient tombs from the Goguryeo period, often decorated with symbols and cultural representations. Used to describe the inspiration for a uniquely designed office ceiling that reflects historical art. The sky is round and the earth is square. A traditional philosophy or concept in East Asian culture, symbolizing harmony between heaven and earth. Mentioned when describing the symbolic design inspiration of the office space. I always end up getting hurt. An expression indicating that a person often experiences harm or injury, especially due to someone else's actions. Used to complain about frequently getting hurt when involved with another person, often said with frustration. Bruised and battered. To be physically hurt or have injuries, often due to physical incidents or conflicts. Describes the physical toll taken on someone, often due to repeated encounters or experiences with a particular person. Something unexpected came up. An unforeseen event or situation occurred, interrupting plans or routines. Used to explain why someone was delayed or couldn't keep a commitment. Couldn't care less. A phrase expressing total lack of interest or concern about something. Used to show disinterest or dismissal, often in a slightly annoyed or direct way. Escalate the longer you put it off. Situations tend to worsen the longer they are delayed or ignored. Used to warn someone that delaying an action will likely lead to more serious consequences. Silent treatment. A form of passive punishment where one person ignores or avoids communication with another. Used to describe a consequence from someone angry or disappointed by another's actions. Stop dawdling. A way of saying stop wasting time or stop delaying. Used to encourage someone to act quickly instead of hesitating or stalling. Claim for damages. To request financial compensation for something damaged or lost, especially valuable items. Used when discussing compensation for a broken or expensive item. Car sick. Feeling nauseated or unwell due to the motion of a vehicle. Used to explain someone's discomfort during car rides, especially if they're sensitive to movement. Bear to be in the car. To tolerate or withstand a situation, particularly an uncomfortable or unpleasant one. Used to describe enduring a difficult car ride with someone who drives uncomfortably. Concussion. A type of head injury caused by a blow to the head, which may affect the brain temporarily. Mentioned as a possible injury someone might have and should be checked by a doctor. Check your blood sugar level. To measure the amount of glucose in the bloodstream, often important for people with diabetes. Used by paramedics to assess a patient's health, especially if they appear unwell due to alcohol or health issues. Stop bothering me. A phrase used to tell someone to leave or stop causing a disturbance, often out of frustration. Used to demand someone to leave or end their interference. Put down that bottle. A command to someone holding a bottle, often alcohol, usually to prevent them from causing harm. Used to de-escalate a tense situation involving a possibly drunk person. For crying out loud. An exclamation expressing frustration or impatience, similar to "oh, come on." Used to express exasperation in a situation that seems unreasonable or annoying. Please subscribe and like. I underestimated you. Realizing that someone is more capable, persistent, or complex than previously thought. Used to admit someone is more challenging or surprising than initially believed. You're driving me nuts. An expression meaning someone is causing intense frustration or annoyance. Used to complain when someone is irritating or overwhelming. Crack my melon. A humorous or exaggerated way of saying someone will hit or discipline you, with melon slang for head. Used humorously to say someone like a parent might hit them in frustration or anger. Puff up one's body. The act of inflating oneself, often to appear bigger or more intimidating, typically in response to fear. Used metaphorically to describe a defensive reaction to a perceived threat. Bulletproof vest. Protective clothing designed to stop bullets, often symbolizing a high level of precaution or defense. Used here humorously to suggest extra protection from a family member's reaction. Screwed up. Slang meaning to make a significant mistake or mess up a situation. Used when confessing to having made a big error that has serious consequences. Get it over with. To complete a difficult or unpleasant task as quickly as possible, rather than delaying it. Used to encourage someone to face a challenging situation head-on and not avoid it. Called it off. To cancel or stop something, typically an event or engagement. Used when someone decides not to proceed with a previously planned commitment, like a wedding. Speak up. To ask someone to speak louder or more clearly. Used when asking someone to repeat themselves so others can understand. Out of the blue. Suddenly or unexpectedly, with no prior indication or warning. Used to describe an unexpected appearance or announcement. Jet lag. A feeling of tiredness and disorientation after traveling across time zones due to changes in one's body clock. Mentioned as an excuse for feeling confused or unwell after a long trip. Out of your mind. An expression used to say someone is acting irrationally or crazily. Used to express strong disapproval of someone's actions or decisions. Pull a stunt. To perform an unexpected or foolish act, often reckless or shocking. Used to describe a bold or controversial action, especially one causing trouble. Hear me out. A request to listen carefully and completely to someone's side of the story before reacting. Used to ask for a fair chance to explain one's actions or perspective. Unfilial daughter. Referring to a daughter who does not show proper respect or loyalty to her parents. Used to criticize someone who behaves in a way that dishonors or disappoints their parents. No violence. A plea to avoid physical aggression in a situation, typically to calm someone down. Used to prevent an argument from becoming physical or heated. Calling it as I see it. Expressing a personal opinion honestly and directly, without holding back. Used to explain a blunt or straightforward judgment. Masochist. A person who enjoys or seeks out suffering, especially self-inflicted. Used humorously to describe people who willingly face unpleasant experiences. Tear him to pieces. An exaggeration implying that someone will aggressively confront or punish another. Used as a threat, often in defense of a loved one who feels wronged. Have you lost your mind? A question suggesting someone is acting irrationally or without good sense. Used to express shock or disbelief at someone's actions. Start hyperventilating. Breathing too fast and shallowly, often due to stress or panic. Mention to warn someone not to get too worked up. Quit my work. To resign from a job or position. Used to announce that one has left a place of employment. On top of all that, in addition to everything else, emphasizing an extra or final issue in a list of problems. Used to describe adding one more problem to an already difficult situation. You've had it up to here. To be fed up or completely out of patience with someone or something. Used to express intense frustration or exasperation. Taking all the blows. Enduring all the physical or emotional impacts intended for someone else. Used to describe someone shielding or protecting another from punishment or criticism. Please subscribe and like. Tag. A children's game where one person chases others to tag them. Used metaphorically here to describe running away and being pursued. We're dead if we get caught. A phrase indicating serious trouble or consequences if one is caught or found out. Used to describe high-stakes situations where being caught could lead to big problems. I'm totally wiped. To be completely exhausted or drained. Used to express extreme tiredness after a physically or emotionally taxing event. Groans. An expression of frustration or exhaustion, often vocalized with a sound like ooh. Used when a character is extremely tired or annoyed. In this case, to express being physically exhausted. Human shield. Using someone as a form of protection against something uncomfortable or undesirable. CO Crew feels like Sung Hyo is using him to shield herself from an unpleasant situation, like being exposed while changing clothes. Nesting doll. Refers to the Russian matryoshka dolls, where one doll is inside another in layers. Used humorously by CO Crew to describe Sung Hyo's excessive layers of clothing, comparing her to a nesting doll due to the number of layers she has on. Judge a book by its cover. To form an opinion based on appearance alone. Sung Hyo uses this phrase to counter the stereotype, suggesting there's more to her than meets the eye. Irresistible femme fatale. Refers to a charming and attractive woman who uses her looks to manipulate others. Sung Hyo jokingly implies she could be a femme fatale, although it's not a serious statement about her personality. Full throttle. Moving or working at maximum speed or capacity. Sung Hyo explains how her life has been fast-paced and overwhelming, leading to burnout. Overheated. Overworked or overwhelmed, often leading to a breakdown or need for a pause. Describes Sung Hyo feeling burnt out or like she's doing too much at once, resulting in a need for change. Overloaded my CPU. Metaphor comparing herself to a computer with too many tasks, leading to a crash. Illustrates how Sung Hyo's mind and energy feel overwhelmed, just as a computer might stop working under heavy processing loads. Reboot myself. To restart or refresh oneself after a period of burnout. Sung-hyo uses this metaphor to explain her decision to start over by quitting her job and ending her engagement. Turn back time. To return to a previous state or recreate past situations. Sung-hyo mentions this to signify recreating Seo-Kryu's childhood experiences, possibly as a way of confronting the past. Please subscribe and like. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of our future content.